Today's video starts an exciting journey. It is time to head north. We've got a plan zigzagging us all the way up through these countries along East Africa, getting us up to Kenya with some really big highlights along the way. The first step, crossing the border into Zimbabwe. And it's an early morning, exciting border crossing, all the butterflies and everything that go with it. But there are a series of events that take place today that's going to change everything. Stuff from us, stuff for the kiddies, stuff from the van. So you need to stay tuned until the end, because our plans make a drastic change over the next 24 hours.
Just like that, Snow and Curt are leaving South Africa and headed north to Zimbabwe. That is right, guys. Our time is over here in South Africa, and boy, we have loved it. We're not going to dwell on it because we will be back to South Africa. Beautiful country. Love it. But today's border crossing day, and we haven't crossed the border in a long time. So we're likely rusty. Snow, do you have border butterflies?
It doesn't matter if we're rusty or not. I'm always going to have border butterflies. But I've got all our documents out and ready. And we've reviewed and researched this border as much as we can. So let's do it, Curt.
We're off to Zimbabwe, which is going to set off a sequence of very quick movement up to the north. We're headed to Victoria Falls and up to Kenya. We got a lot of stops along the way. Some really amazing stuff, guys. Let's go do this.
If you're new to our channel, it's been so long since we crossed a border that you may not be aware of the fact that it is difficult for us to film at borders. We'll do the best we can to capture a little bit of it, but once we start going inside the offices at Customs and Immigration, there are no cameras. So you're pretty much going to have to rely on anything we're able to capture with our dash cam. So we will be back to give you an update once we have fully crossed the border. Cross your fingers, we are rusty.
Do I get over here?
I don't know, honey. I don't know. Those cars are still going. I just don't know if we'll fit through those things. Now we got to get in. There's a gap. Get in that gap. Nice job. The border business begins. Oh no.
So what happens is these semis all take a long time. So they line up on the left side. But as we're coming up through here, there are semis who are trying to snake the line. Now maybe they're going to the gas station or whatever, but anyway, they kind of block both lanes. So we had to dart out into the other lane to get through. And well, guys, the times, they have changed already. Look at this. This is much different than the South Africa we have gotten to know.
All right, time for us to get out of here.
We have made it out of South Africa. To be honest with you, it was a really easy process. We went in and got our carnet de passage stamped. That only took about 5 minutes, and then we were passing a long line of trucks.
Yeah, we have to hurry. Hold on, we'll be back.
Then we went through migration. So we are out of South Africa. Again, we're headed across the bridge. This is the Limpopo River, and so this is the border. And so now we are headed into Zimbabwe.
I don't think that we were rusty. I think that's one of the most unorganized borders we've been through in a long, long, long time, over many, many borders. And for those of you that don't know, this is our 52nd country in the van. So we are experienced border crossers. And before I explain everything, we have to give you the traditional welcome to Zimbabwe.
Zim!
We did it. We made it across the border. It took us 2.5 hours, and not because the border was crowded.
And it was 10 minutes on the South African side.
But when you first drive up, you're like, this is impressive. There's fancy gates and buildings and people in uniforms and lines, and things just went to chaos right away. At our first stop, which we don't even know what it was for, to get some sort of piece of paper, the computer was broken, and it took about 20 minutes to get it rebooted to print us out a piece of paper. And then nobody knew where to go, and we went somewhere, and we walked somewhere, and we did this, and finally, we don't do it often, but we took the help of a fixer.
Well,
there's no signs, there's no direction.
So it wasn't, the guy wouldn't get out of my personal space, and this is typical of fixers, no matter how many times we said, no thank you, we'll figure it out. He was there the whole entire time, and to be honest with you, he says, go here, so.
Yeah, we finally just went with it.
But they have implemented all this new technology.
Yeah.
And they don't know how to use it.
Yeah, there's computers and there's stuff but then the credit card machine took our money at once but didn't show up on their computer, and they had to call some major IT office and reverse something, and then we had to pay in cash, but they don't have change, and it was a mess. The only thing I will give them credit for that was organized is when you go to immigration, when you're entering Zimbabwe as an American citizen, and almost all people have to do this that go to Zimbabwe, you must go through a visa on arrival process. That means you don't just get your passport stamped and walk on in. And sometimes that has to be done in advance online. Sometimes you're writing on paper forms. But they had little iPod stations, and it was very simple. I will give them credit for that, and it worked perfectly. As soon as you hit enter, you walked over to immigration, and you were on her computer. So you've got that part figured out, Zimbabwe, but you really need to work on the rest of it. It also was expensive. We have a total of $161 US that we just spent to get into Zimbabwe.
For 5 days.
Yeah, that covers our road tax, some sort of insurance that was required, even though we have insurance on the van, our van import fees, and the visa fees. So it's an expensive country. We did get multiple entry because we will leave Zimbabwe, and then, spoiler alert, we will come back to Zimbabwe when we get up north, because there is a very famous waterfall here. But that's going to be several episodes from now. But we did it. The rust is shaken off of us. We've made it into a new country. Now we're going to make a long drive today because it is hot. There is a heat wave going on right now, way above normal heat. It'll be up over 100 degrees for most of the day today, when normally it should be in the upper 80s. So we've decided just to drive quite a ways, where we arrive at our campsite around sunset, and we'll regroup. But as we're driving, we'll give you some first impressions. But first, we need to shake that off, don't we? We need a minute. We'll be back.
I think we've been a little spoiled, guys. All right, we have been traveling up the A4 now for about 45 minutes. We've been in Zimbabwe, and we just got stopped at a police stop. It looks like there might be another one here less than 5 minutes apart. They just picked up the cone once they saw our license plate and let us go through the other one. But I wanted to give you kind of my first impression as we enter into the country, and I don't want to jinx myself, but so far the roads have been really good, sort of like interstate or highway type roads, divided highway, with nice big shoulders. So the roads have been nice. Now it is, as Snow I think already told you, it is hot. And let me hold on, pause, because we're about to get stopped, guys. So that police officer right there, wanted us to pull over. I told him we were tourists that just arrived today, and then he let us go. So it just feels like, based on our border experience and kind of the police stops, there's a hint of corruption here. Haven't specifically seen it. It just feels a little different like that. Now again, we're rusty, and so we got to get back into it. The roads are good, guys, and we're making good time up through here, but it is hot and it is dry. So if you guys saw the last episode, you saw the last bit of Kruger National Park with all the dead trees and all the dead grasses and things like that. That's what it looks like here. So it's almost like just deserty and very rural. So there was some stuff around the border. We just passed a little intersection a bit ago with a gas station and
a few villages.
And a village. Now the village, all the little stalls are little makeshift stalls just made with these little tree limbs and tree branches and tree trunks cut down to hold the roofs up. The roofs are made of plastic and tin. So again, very basic little market kind of living area, if you will. And there's also in those areas a lot of rubbish, a lot of people just sitting in the shade. It's clear most people here, at least what we've seen so far, don't have cars, so they're waiting on public transportation and or just looking for some shade to escape this hot sun. But it has dramatically changed from what the experiences we had in South Africa. I don't want to go so far as to say it's like South Africa or West Africa yet, but
it's rough around the edges.
It's definitely rough around the edges. So we'll kind of keep you guys posted. We have about a 3.5 hour drive, so we have, I don't know, 150 miles or so to go. I did see at the gas station the fuel looks to be like I think $1.50 a gallon or a liter, so $6 a gallon. And also they take US dollars here. They do speak English, and also there's a lot of tribal languages here. But I think most everybody speaks English, so the language shouldn't be a problem. US dollars. We will need to find an ATM because we haven't been carrying a lot of US dollars around. Also, our international SIM cards, our air SIMs, eSIMs, are not working here. So we're hoping, we're fingers crossed, that we can get our Starlink working again, because buying data to upload videos and do all that stuff has just been brutal. It's been killing us, guys. And so anyway, we're seeing a lot of goats on the side of the roads, a few cows. Most of them are just kind of wandering around, wandering in the roads and stuff like that. So, whew, we're back in it. nice. It's been quickly a humbling experience, to be honest with you. It's hot here and people are living a hard life. I can tell you that right now. And we just passed people selling corn on the side of the road on a dusty road. And they kind of run out in the road with like their corn, their cooked corn, roasted corn ears on like a pitchfork. And of course the dust is coming by and they're just trying to make a living. And the roads, the good roads, have ended. Now I don't know if they're going to pick back up or what, but we were really on the main thoroughfare, perfect road. Snow commented and therefore I think jinxed us. She said, boy, these new roads, these look brand new. I hope we don't meet where the new construction ends. And
we did.
10 minutes later, we're on this bumpy gravel road. And I don't know how it's gonna last, but
here we go.
Yeah, here we go.
We cross over to a detour on the other side. Well, we made it through the gravel detour. They put us back on an asphalt road, but I think it's an old asphalt road that they plan on doing construction on in little phases. And I think as we crossed the border, we landed on the really good brand new roads. And now we're on the old, definitely not brand new roads. They're bumpy, wavy, narrow, potholy, but we have seen a lot worse. So you're not going to hear us complain too much more, well, unless it gets a lot worse. But right now, it's definitely not the worst road we've been on. But it's going to take us a little longer to get to camp. We're back on a detour to the gravel Lime Rock Road, which, to be honest, is a little bit better quality than the old existing asphalt road they had us on. But as we came around that last curve, first we came through a police stop and the guy was very, very kind. And then we came up on a construction site, didn't we, Kurt? They were putting down fresh asphalt. We hope that somewhere up here they let us drive on it. But it was a very high-tech operation. And if you don't know, I know most of you do, but if you don't, me and Kurt both come from road construction background. So anytime we see a big operation like that around the world, we are immediately intrigued at how they're doing things.
And strange as it may sound, I love the smell of fresh asphalt. I've been around it for a lot of years, and it was pretty cool. They had their equipment painted up nice, and as we've come up through here, we've seen several quarries and asphalt plants with bitumen world on it, and that was what they had on the paving crew. So
that seems to be the name of the company, Bitumen
they're
World.
building good roads up through here, guys. It just looks like we got here a little too early to really appreciate the good roads all the way up for our journey. But I will tell you, we got into some mountains, and these monoliths are absolutely stunning. Reminds me of when we came through Angola, and also in Rio de Janeiro in Brazil, these big giant domes sticking out.
Yeah, it's really, really beautiful landscape. Now if we could just get to some beautiful roads. Detours that are bumpy, old roads that haven't been repaired yet that are really bumpy. A few sections where the roads are pretty good because they've built the new ones there already. But we have bounced back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. And most of the time we are on really, really bad and bumpy detour roads. So we should have arrived at our campsite around 4. Now the GPS is saying around 5. The state of the roads we're on right now, I don't hold my breath for that. So our eSIMs are not working, so we don't have internet to try to find another campsite closer to us. So we must push on, which starts to make us wonder about it getting dark before we get there. And not to be Debbie Downers or anything, but this is not a very good welcome to Zimbabwe. This is supposed to be their main road from their busiest border connecting them to South Africa up to one of the largest cities in Zimbabwe. So, hi, guys.
What did we get ourselves into?
That is a very good question. It's the road's fault. I mean, Jesus. We've had several more cycles of on the good road, on the bad road, on the good road, on the bad road. But one thing I forgot to bring up is we have now gone through 2 toll booths to drive on this horrendous road. So we have paid $8 US to be tortured.
Abysmal, not to mention all the taxes we paid on the way in, which we never complain about because, to be honest with you, I mean, we're using their system. But I feel sorry for the people. We saw so many breakdowns along that road,
Flat
tires.
Working people losing their vehicles because of the road.
It's abysmal, and shame on the government of Zimbabwe for putting the people through that kind of abuse.
Yeah, and charging them a toll. So the least they could do is suspend tolls. $8 is a lot of money to the locals here. A ton of money.
They can also kind of grade the road or something a little bit.
It's 5 o'clock, and we just had to pull in and fill up. And now we can confirm that diesel is a little bit over $6 a gallon here. So that hurts. That's a little bit more than we're used to from South Africa. But we have turned off of the main road, and it seems like the side road right now is a little bit better. What do we have, Kurt? 20 minutes?
23 kilometers. The thing says 20 minutes. Who knows?
Yeah. So we're headed to a little side detour where we hope our campsite is, and it's a little destination where we hope we can do something fun and maybe take some of the bad taste out of our mouth about Zimbabwe so far.
Yeah, it's not just Zimbabwe, it's doing this again.
Yeah.
It felt a little like West Africa, and I don't think either of us have the energy to go through that again. So hopefully we see some improvement in the roads in the next few days.
If not, we'll have to come up with another plan.
We can't do this for 3 months. We just can't.
But first things first, let's get to our campsite and see what that has to offer. There it is.
Great Zimbabwe Hotel. This is the ruins, which basically are going to tell us the history of Zimbabwe. And these are super ancient. They're like, I think, 11th century or something like that. Anyway, the campsite's $50 a night. We don't have any cell connection, neither of us. They have really good Wi-Fi here. And I think they got it really good down at the campground too. And so we need to get our Starlink connected, and we think we can do that here. And we're gonna learn about the history of Zimbabwe.
Yeah. Vanna. Hear that monkey? You yelling at me because I got kitties? Don't you yell at me. That's right. You go away. All right, guys. We made it to our camp. It's parked back behind the hotel. There's monkeys everywhere. A lot of tents. Look at all the monkeys. I'm gonna pull the door closed a little bit. This guy seems angry about our kitty cats. So we'll do this right here. And then I'll show y'all all these monkeys. I think they all came running. There's one up in that tree right there. When the one started yelling at us. Look at them all. Little monkeys everywhere. I see a tail right there. Anyway, guys, we made it. We need to rest. was terrible. That is so terrible. That was horrible.
So we rolled into the campsite last night and we were both just exhausted. And the kiddies were exhausted and we were exhausted. And it was an expensive campground and it was $50 a night, which is outrageous for down here. And we needed the Wi-Fi. So we pulled around the back. There was supposed to be electric there. There was no electrics there. And we were just tired. We were just tired of everything we saw. It was hot. It was super hot. We couldn't get cooled down. And over 100 degrees. We went to sleep at 8 o'clock. And I woke up the next morning. And Snow and I were sitting here doing coffee. And I just looked at her and said, I can't do this for 3 months. And she looked at me and said, me neither. I mean, I was thinking the exact same thing as what she said. And so really, without much discussion, we just kind of knew that we were done. And right about that moment, well,
let's cut in here and let me kind of show you a little bit about what happened right then, which just kind of reinforced everything me and Kurt were feeling from the series of events that had happened. But we had been watching the little monkeys and the baboons were coming through, and I heard a commotion. I didn't have the video camera, but at first I thought there was someone running through the campsite and the security guards were chasing them. And then I saw the person that was running had like a rifle type hunting gun looking thing almost. And that got me a little worried, so I started paying a little more attention. And then what I realized they were doing was, I guess, basically hunting the monkeys, the baboons. And I can understand wanting to keep the baboons away from your campsite. But what I saw right outside of our van will probably stay with me my entire life. 2 security guards and a worker had caught one of the babies. Were holding him upside down by his tail. He was bleeding from under his arm. He was alive. He was screaming and crying. And they were holding it up, taking selfies, laughing, and taunting the rest of the baboon tribe with this poor, almost dead baby monkey. And it just kind of solidified and reinforced.
I was in the back. We had already started trying to figure out what we were going to do. So I was in the back on my computer, so I didn't see it, but I could just hear Snow screaming like, stop, stop, stop. And she said, the guys, no, and they were just swinging the monkey in front of the other monkeys, I guess, to shoo them away or something like that.
And they were hysterical crying. It was
screaming and laughing and taking selfies. And Snow was just traumatized. I mean, she
cried. I was hysterical.
And the problem is the monkeys would come around outside. So once all this commotion stopped about an hour later, a few more of the barbet monkeys came along around the van and were chirping. They weren't bothering. They were up in the trees. I mean, they didn't hurt anything by any way. It just made her upset again and again, and it was just traumatic. And
it just reinforced our decision that we do not want to do the harsh parts of this continent again.
The thing is this, guys. is we were super excited to go to this place. This is Zimbabwe's national monument. The history dating back to these historic ruins go all the way back to the 11th century. It is the reason why Zimbabwe has its name today. As we were coming up through all the police stops, which again was another sort of a straw, if you will, they were like, it's the heart of Zimbabwe. This place we're going is supposed to be a really sacred, special place. We stayed at the premier hotel leading into this, and to have this happen there was just shocking. It's just shocking and horrifying, and maybe it's normal in their culture, but it's not normal for us to witness. And it wasn't like it was just simply hunting, it was cruelty.
Yeah.
And so anyway, as Snow said, she was immediately, she says, we need to leave Zimbabwe now. I can't do this. I can't do this anymore. And so that's what we got to do, guys. But the problem is we are out of time in South Africa.
We can't go back.
And so that is where we would ship the van done. We're not going to go north, and we'll explain that later. But anyway, we got to figure out what we're going to do, guys.
Yeah.
So we're a little shook up. We're a little mixed up. And everything that we've been planning for the last couple months, this big adventure, all these epic spots, everything has changed. And we got to regroup, and we got to figure out what we're going to do.
So we'll be back in a few days, and then we'll tell you some of the plans, hopefully, because right now we don't know what they are. If you liked this video, be sure to hit that thumbs up button. It really helps us a lot. And if you want to see more of our videos, be sure to subscribe to our channel and hit that notification bell so you know when new videos come out. We'll see you guys in a few days from somewhere out here in the world. Cheers.